Oh, yeah. Freak out, freak out. Yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, And this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future. Yeah, and I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar. Yeah, the cream of the crop. Dig it?
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er minded. 49er minded. I can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco. Super Bowl, don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A red and gold session. About our red and gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions. Let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how it's been in the spot. Let's roll that back, all that crack, all that strip fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the story on, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind. 49er minded.
It's not just a thought process,
49er minded,
but a way of life. Bashar.
49er minded.
Way of life.
49er minded.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Let me say what's up to some people in the chat really quick before I bring my guest on, who's been waiting patiently. We'll get him on soon. What up, Kenny? How's it going? Yo. We got 49er podcast here, Bang Bang Niner Gang. We got Cowboy Angel. How's it going? Says, oh yeah, brother. 49er Chanel, what's up, dude? Clown Man, what's up, bro? How you doing? Bob Money says, fuck the Raiders. And yeah, let's bring him on. We got Ryan from No Border Sports YouTube channel. Check out his YouTube channel. I put the link to the description of his YouTube channel in the description box of this video. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, there you go. I can hear you. We're doing great. Hey, we won, right? So we could have been a lot
Bro.
worse. The game was not looking good at points in times, and we pulled it off.
I actually just got done watching it for the first time. So I was so late. I was like, I got to get the condensed version in. I had to listen to it. And then, like, Greg Papa sucks. So he's talking about where people, played previously. And I'm trying to figure out what happened on the play. And he's just leaving out, he just goes, oh, quarterback sneak. And then he goes back into explaining, oh, he used to be on New England. It almost looked like it was he's talking about the play beforehand. Looks like a New England play. It looks like the fullback knows how to run that play. Just tell me what happened on the play that just happened.
Pop. I'm the only one that seems to like him anymore. I don't know. It's okay. I get it. I mean, I haven't listened to any of his games live where I'm sitting there trying to follow it, so I can understand and see how, if it is weird like that, I can see where one could get frustrated. Who else is here? Dan Castillo, what's up, bro? How you doing? Great to have you on. Yeah, so what we're going to do right now, so normally with my post-game recaps, basically I have notes where I just talk about like the big plays of the game and early on in the game and how just to talk about the plays that go on throughout the game and, how things, transpired. So basically early in the game, the Raiders were moving the ball very well against us. It pretty much was very frustrating to watch, actually, because this guy Stedham comes out there and we have no idea who he is. So early in the game, it's third into the 24-yard line. Stedham rolls to the right and he finds Darren Waller. I mean, this is prior to this, the Raiders were just marching up the field and Waller beats Hufanga on that play, man. Any thoughts about that one there, Ryan?
So I'd like to talk. I think I figured out, as watching the game, I think I figured out why the defense was so off tonight. Because of their running game, we were playing a lot of man. And it was like squishy man zone. Like they had space and they were finding the gaps. So not only could we not stop the run, but we were playing zone to stop the run, and it was just opening up passes. Their passing offense to slip behind our zones. So there was, Huff, look at him again. He's putting his eyes in the backfield. Especially like lately it's been like some play on the first drive, he blows it, and we end up giving up a touchdown. But the plays that I've seen him blow, I've never seen him blow an exact play like that again. You know what I mean? So maybe we're just paying for greatness right now. You know what I mean? Maybe he's like, okay, you got me there, but you'll never get me there again. You know what I mean? And how many more trick plays has somebody got to before he knows them all? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Not
there were
that
plays
that's
early in the
everything.
season, like the Dante Pettis play, right, where it was just totally blown, and there's been other plays where he wasn't even a part of the play, where he just missed his assignment. And those I'm like, okay, well, he could figure out his assignment in the future, and that won't happen again. But the plays that bother me the most are the where he does know what's happening. He is following the receiver, or in this case tight end, and he's still getting beat. Those are the ones that
And he
do
breaks
concern me the
off.
most. Yeah, those are the ones that concern me.
Yeah.
But I love his game in general, though. He's an amazing, fun player to watch. Did make the Pro Bowl. I definitely think he deserved the Pro Bowl. Let me see what's up. Some guys that just hopped in here. Oh, go ahead.
His issue is he doesn't wait to have the quarterback have to make that decision before he closes on it. He feels that it's happening and he springs on it as soon as he comes to his head without waiting just a long enough time to where he either spoils the route that he's covering and makes them have to throw it down, or you know what I mean? Like he needs to just wait a little bit longer and force the quarterback to actually make a decision, because most of the time he's making a decision before the quarterback has fully made that decision. The quarterback's thinking about it, thinking hard, but once he sees movement from Hufanga, he knows exactly where he needs to go at that point. So Hufanga needs to stay and just do his job until the ball comes out of that quarterback's hand and it's not going to his receiver. Then he needs to crash. You know what I mean? Like, I understand you want to get interceptions, but you can't give up touchdowns if you're not going to get the interception. You know what I mean?
And you're not going to get.
You can't give up a touchdown to try and get a tackle.
Yeah. You're definitely not going to get interceptions on every play. We got Corey in the chat. He says, let's get the number 1 seed next week. That'd be nice. Eagles lost today, right? They lost the previous week. So we're in number 2 seed right now. John V's in the chat says, let's fucking go, fellas. What's up, John V? And Steven Soprano's here, says, Mama, there goes that man. CMC was awesome today. Tommy Huxley says, we ain't getting the number 1 seed. So,
it all comes down to the Bears and us. You know what I mean? And I don't think the number 1, but this is the thing. I was talking with Beto about this earlier. I don't see Jalen Hurts coming in miraculous. Like, is he going to play this week?
He's still injured, from what I understand. Yeah.
So this is what I'm seeing. If he's not coming back this week and getting 1 game in the regular season to mesh back with the team and kind of get on track, they're screwed. Because look what happened. You know what I mean? And their defense crumbled also. So, right? Because how do you get everything back on and working together correctly in a week, and then turn around and not lose? You know what I mean? Kind of need a regular season game to get it underneath your belt.
And I'm not really worried about the Cardinals, but we saw what the Raiders did to us this week, and they made it uneasy on us. And some people are under the impression that we might have to rest certain players against the Cardinals, or I'm all about trying to win. If we have a shot at that number 1 seed, let's just try to win out and see what happens. What up, David McNiner? David McNiner's here. What's up, Bastion Ryan? And let me carry on with the recap of the first half. So after the Raiders scored to that Darren Waller touchdown, we later had the ball, and it was 3rd and 37 at the sorry, not 3rd and 37. It was 3rd and 3 at the 37-yard line. CMC out of the shotgun, runs to the right side of the field, has daylight, runs a super long run, gets tackled at the 2-yard line. Then later was 2nd and 2, and Purdy to Ayuk touchdown from Brock Purdy to Brandon Ayuk, baby. So let's go. Any thoughts on that drive, Ryan?
Well, to me, it seemed like they knew they were going to score the whole way down. You know what I mean? It seemed like Brock was really in the command of things. It seemed like Brock was running things confidently the whole night. Like down on that last drive when they missed the field goal, I was like, well, if we had to go for a field goal or a touchdown right now, I'd feel confident in him throwing it. You know what I mean? And then Robbie missed it. It's totally not him either. He was pissed at himself. You could tell. But yeah, no, that drive was a good drive. It seemed like, I don't know, with not on that drive, but when there was a minute left in the game, it seemed like when he's sitting there, I've seen him reading his wrist, and seemed like he was, okay, I know exactly what defense this is. Now I just need to figure out which route I'm going to look to. And it's like he was using his wrist in his play sheet, and he was seeing the defense, and he pre-snap, he knew who he was going to, it seemed like. When there wasn't much time left, he wasn't trying to go through progressions. He was trying to figure out who was going to have the ball first, and he was trying to get it to him. You know what I mean? And I appreciated that. He had that questionable throw to Kittle in the end zone there, or on the goal line, I think it was, where he was like double covered and almost got picked off. Yeah. I don't know, when I looked at the game, when I finally watched the game, I wasn't too upset about what I saw. Because, like I said, I kind of understood what was going on with the defense. And the offense seemed to be working good. Like, Chris McCaffrey was the player of the game, I would say, on our team. If he wasn't on our team today, we would have been in bad shape. I mean, his passing, he wouldn't give up on the run plays neither. He wasn't going down for shit. I mean, it was actually a good game.
Yes, I mean, yeah, CMC has been an amazing addition to us. This is our 9th victory in the row. And also, let me say also another thing. Forgot to say it at the beginning of the show, but Happy New Year to you, Ryan, to all our viewers, each and all the Niner faithful. So hopefully 2023 is going to be an amazing year. And who knows, maybe we might be able to win the Super Bowl this year. Who knows? We'll see what happens with that. So after we had the Ayuk touchdown, though, the next possession, the 49ers marched down the field. CMC was an instrumental part of this drive. He had a few nice runs, and he had a few nice pass receptions. And later on that same drive, Kittle catches one from Purdy at the 20-yard line and brings it down. He broke a few tackles and brought it down to the 15-yard line. After that, it was 3rd and goal, the 2-yard line. Purdy rolls to the left, and it looked like it was kind of one of those plays where you got kind of nervous seeing it live, like what's going on here. Yeah, he rolls to the left to get himself some extra time, and boom, he threw it to Kittle. Kittle jumped up for it. It's kind of like a Dwight Clark catch type play. Next thing you know, it was like 14-10. And soon after that, 4 minutes and 33 seconds left in the second quarter. 4th and inches, Raiders drive down, 4th and inches, get at the goal line. They get stopped. They gave the Jacobs, they get stopped. That was great to see. The bend and don't break from the defense. And the defense was struggling this game. So what sucked was when you get the ball all the way down and you do a goal line stop at the, you end up getting the ball at the freaking 1-yard line. And then, back-to-back plays, Trent Williams, I believe, was offsides or something like that. And then 49ers were forced to punt. And the punt they had was a terrible punt by Wisnowski, which totally sucked. And, the Raiders drove down. They drove down the field. Stidham was doing amazing against us, by the way. Stidham threw the ball right above Mooney Ward's hand in the end zone to Devontae Adams for a touchdown. Raiders are up at the half, 17-14.
Yep.
Me with the rest of the Niner Empire, we're like, what is this? Where's this Stidham guy coming from? I believe at the half he had like 144 yards, and this is like some no-name quarterback just balling out against us, and we're losing at the half, 17-14, man. Yo, Ryan.
Yo.
Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, we're down 17-14 at the half, man. Did you know did that give you any concern when you were listening to the game? I mean,
oh yeah, So let me explain to you my situation. So, I live up here in Washington, so I can't watch the game. So I'm I'm listening to it, and Greg Papa's pissed me off. You know what I mean? So I'm like, Beto's streaming. I'm gonna go listen to Beto, right? So Beto starts talking about what's going on, and then like it starts getting, kind of bad to the point where Beto just kind of goes, "Oh no!" Like he just all he's doing is making like sounds, it seems like that. And I'm like, "What's happened?" And then one guy's getting down and he's like, "Look, Roberto, you got to be faithful. This, that." I'm like, "What's happening? What's happening?" Like, so to the point where I had to go and listen to the Raiders broadcast because Papa can't get to the point, and Beto was so taken aback by the game that he was just a gasp over the plays and couldn't remember to explain what was going on, and like because it was that bad. And then I'm getting like all frustrated because I'm as upset as Beto, but I don't even know why because I can't hear. So that was kind of fun. And then once the Seahawks game got over, I was able to watch the end of the game. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking, bro. I felt sick to my stomach there for a while. Like, what the hell is going on? Why are these bunch of punks pushing us around?
Yeah, we
When I
did not
watched the
look like the
game-
number one. We didn't look like the number one defense at all.
That
that was
Jacobs
what's
is
frustrating
load.
thing about the game.
That
Yeah.
Jacobs is a load, and I'm pretty sure that offensive line has got, especially in jumbo, has got a couple 100 pounds on our defensive line. You know what I mean?
They got a lot of big bulky dudes on there, kind of like the Cowboys' offensive line.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that might have been it. And like I said, because they were pushing our D line down and our linebackers weren't as effective because the offensive linemen were getting off our D line and getting into their lanes, or getting in their way. Then you had to have, the zone defense. So everybody was coming up. You know what I mean? Once it's a run play, you got to come up because they're gashing us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, let me see what's up to some people who have arrived in the chat. What up, Werowski?
Yeah.
Says Happy New Year. How you doing, bro? Great to have you on. 49ers first takes. Aaron is here. He says 49ers defense needs to find themselves
We'll be on
again.
his
And
channel tomorrow.
they look like, yeah, we're gonna be on there tomorrow. Says our defense looked like garbage. For the most part, they did. Yeah, they made Stidham look like a freaking Hall of Famer. It's pissing me off, dude. Damian Lee's here. Says our defense had an off day, but Brock won this gut wrencher. Oh yeah, Brock Purdy was really nice. And 49 playlist doesn't know what you mean by Greg Papa. He's just not a fan of how Greg Papa covers the games. He's explained it multiple times. Becky, what's up, Becky? He says that's why you can't count the 49ers out, especially when they're in the playoffs and they got fire and drive. Yes, they do. They sure do. Go ahead.
And look what happened at halftime. They came out like they sputtered in that first drive, but then they started knocking down points. You know what I mean? So and the defense was holding them. How many times did they stop the Raiders from scoring points?
Oh yeah,
So
we're gonna go ahead and go ahead.
It's just a hell of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it sure was. I'll tell you this though, as pissed
you're
off
good.
as I was mentally about how we were making this guy look like a Hall of Fame quarterback and everything, and we weren't looking like the number one defense, there still was a calmness to me. And that's not necessarily because it was Brock Purdy or anything like that playing, but it's just that usually in these type of games, I get a lot more nervous. I don't feel healthy, and for whatever reason, even though I was unhappy for many points of the game, I just felt calm, which was good. But let me see if I'm missing anybody else in the chat. Oh, what's up, JD? Keeping the faithful to the motherfucking Bay. LOL, Las Vegas. Yeah, you take your losses in Vegas, man, or you lost wages, that is. What up, Steve-O? And yeah, so let me just go ahead and Shifty's here. What's up, Shifty? How you doing, bro? So let me just go ahead and finish off the second half recap. So we were down 17-14, and it was in the third quarter. Stidham had pressure to the right-hand side, and he got leveled by Talanoa Hufanga. Basically, Stidham had rolled out and looked like he was either going to run or throw. Ended up throwing, but he got leveled by Hufanga. But lo and behold, it was like one of those fluky Seattle Seahawks type plays back when the Seahawks were balling out and when they won the Super Bowl. Devontae Adams is like wide open, 60-yard touchdown. Raiders are up 24-14 at that time, and there's huge cause for concern. A little bit after that, 7 minutes in the third quarter, it was 1st and 20. The ball was at the 45-yard line. Brock Purdy threw it to Jennings to the other 35-yard line. So they're in the 49ers red zone territory at that point. A few plays later, the 49ers handed off to CMC. He bounces out to the outside. Touchdown 49ers, 21-24. CMC was my MVP of the game. Are you there, Ryan? What's up, man? I know you're always eager to say something. What up, Shifty? Shifty says, ha, ha, ha. What up, Damian Lee? Damian Lee says, Ayuk needs to be more consistent on his catches. Yeah, there was a point in time, I forgot when it was, but
shout out to Stidham and Purdy there. Yeah, can you not hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah, I wasn't hearing you earlier.
Can you not hear me?
I hear you. Go. I hear you, dude. Go ahead. I don't know if you want to leave and come back because there might be a delay because I do hear you, but you're not saying anything at this point in time. Anyways, Nighthawks here says hello everyone, and what else is going on? Oh yeah, I was just saying Ayuk said Ayuk needs to be more consistent on his catches. Definitely, I totally agree. Yeah, and Jennings too. I mean, I forgot what play it was or what point in time in the game it was, but it was a play where Jennings could have made a big play. Basically, he was wide open and he beat his man and then he still dropped it. And it's just like, it's really frustrating, you know? I mean, I do like our receivers. I like our pass catchers in general, but I just think they can do a whole lot better at securing the ball. And a lot of them are being are pretty bad at that. Just laughing at what Steve-O said right here. Steve-O said, well, I was actually thinking, I'm waiting for Ryan to come back. He's got some connection issues. So, yeah, Worowski even said, even CMC dropped the ball. You never see CMC drop a pass. Let's see if Ryan is back here. He's got some connection. There you go. You're back. You hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
There you go. All right, cool. I'm not sure if you heard me when I was talking about that Devontae Adams touchdown.
Yeah.
For the 49ers. Okay. Then later I mentioned that how we gave it to CMC. He bounced it out to the outside and got a nice little touchdown. We then were down 21-24 at that point. But things seemed like they were kind of getting better. And I was waiting for you to respond, and then the connection thing happened. But ready to go right now.
So I wanted to give a shout out to Jared Stidham and Brock Purdy because they both took shots like champs tonight to deliver balls. I mean, they gave no fucks. You hear me?
I hear you. I don't see your video though. It's like, yeah, your connection issue's terrible tonight, dude. And I've seen, and we collab a lot on Aaron's channel, so I'm definitely used to collabing with this guy before, but definitely got some issues tonight with his internet. Let me see what else is going on in the chat. Appreciate you guys big time. I was thinking about actually taking some calls on here. If you guys are down, it looks like we have a pretty good amount of people in here. I might as well do it. Let me just see what the okay. So who was it? It was a 49er playlist that asked if the 49ers did the Niners have a single sack all game. From what I understand, we did not sack the quarterback. It was really, really frustrating. And I'm looking at the stat line right now. Yeah, 0 sacks. This was the game that I was honestly expecting. Bosa to tie Alden Smith or possibly break his team record of 19.5 sacks. And let's see if Ryan looks like you're available. There you go. Looks like you're here. What's up, man?
I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't even see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about taking some calls from the people in the chat. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so I know you got your connection issues, but it's cool if you come and go, we'll be good. So what Master?
Did you hear what I said about Purdy?
No, I didn't. You said something about Stidham and Purdy, how they were taking shots.
So before, yeah, I was saying they were kings tonight. They were taking shots and didn't give a damn because they were standing in delivering balls. So I had to take my hat off to both of them.
Definitely. I mean, Purdy showed that he can fight through adversity today, and it wasn't easy for him. He had to come back, and then the defense wasn't balling out like they were in all those previous games. Jimmy G has had the luxury of the defense balling out in many games, and Purdy's also had that same luxury too, you could say, in these past games. But it was one of those games where, hey, the defense isn't playing stout defense like we normally see it, and who's going to step up? Who's going to step up to the plate? What up, E. Kim? He says, hey, Ryan and Bashar. Yeah, Ryan's got some connection issues. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link. If we're going to take some calls on a one-by-one basis. If I don't know who you are, if I don't recognize you, I'm not going to put you on. There's a lot of weirdos, a lot of trolls out there. But if you are a name that I do recognize and you are a loyal, faithful viewer, I'll definitely put you on and we can have a chat. And if there is a queue, if there's a line, I'd have to give people about a 5-minute time range or so for those who do call in. But Ryan is back. Let me see if I can bring him on. All right, three's a charm. Are we in? Are we? What's up?
So I've gone through two routers, and now I'm on my 4G.
Okay, it looks way better now, in my opinion. So I think you're good.
I don't know. I think so too. And I'm like, what the hell?
I think we're in business. Okay, so what I did was I have the phone lines open up now. I didn't recap the whole game yet. We got into part of the second half, and we'll eventually finish off the whole recap. But I do have Korean 49er waiting patiently. You guys follow the Grant Cohn show at all? He's a loyal caller on there. What's up, bro? How you doing? Long time no see.
I'm good. How are
What
you
up,
guys doing
BCM?
tonight?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, man.
Thank you to you guys too. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Great to have you on. What's up, man?
Not every win is going to be a peach. And you know that today that the defense didn't play like what they've normally played this year. I don't think there's any defense anymore that's going to be the 1985 Bears. So what you can do is just get stops when you can, and hopefully the other parts of the team can help bail you out.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about this defense, how great they were playing, and minus this game, obviously, as amazing as this defense has looked, I saw some holes, and I just didn't see us registering these amazing sack numbers as all these other greatest defenses of all time have. You can name the Bears, you can name the Baltimore Ravens, but this defense, I mean, minus the whole sack thing, in general, the defense has looked pretty awesome. And sure, you're going to have games where you just slip up.
Yep. So if you watch any of the college playoff games, you see that defense is optional in those games. Have you kind of noticed with the big scores that defense is optional?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Minnesota lost today. My big worry is we'll get the Packers first round, and with Aaron Rodgers being able to, long as his receivers are on the same page, they can do a number on secondaries. Not saying that it's going to happen, but you would rather not have that possibility if you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't want to have that happen to us. Obviously, we don't want Aaron Rodgers to get on the hot streak, and we have been pretty successful at beating him in the playoffs. But it could be that time where he's totally determined to beat our asses in the playoffs and seek redemption. So,
yeah. So, yeah, I kind of did expect Green Bay to get kind of hot, or at least find a way to get wins towards the end. It's like, so if the Packers win, I believe they're in, because I think they have a tiebreaker against Seattle. But if the Lions win and Seattle loses, I think the Lions are in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. We're in the hunt to possibly get the number one seed. Go ahead.
If Green Bay wins, they're automatically in. But everybody needs the Seahawks and the Lions need Green Bay to lose, and then they need the other team to also lose to get in. That's what I read.
So,
and let me ask you this, Korean Niner, because I know at the end of last year's playoffs, you were pretty upset with Kyle. I think you were kind of upset with Kyle Shanahan, if I'm not mistaken. Do you see any improvements from Kyle, or do you think there'll be improvements in this playoff run that he'll possibly learn from his past mistakes?
To me, Kyle is kind of like, I don't know if you ever read any of those Greek mythology stories, but he's kind of like Sisyphus in a way, having to roll a rock uphill only for it to roll back down when he gets close.
I got you. I got you. I didn't never read that. No, I never read that. No.
So hopefully he'll find a way to find a way to win. I'll just say that. Right now, I can't get angry at him. He's done a very good job this year. There's really not much within reason to complain about outside of let's give Jordan Mason a few more carries earlier in the game.
That'd be nice.
But that's another thing for another time.
Yeah, I think Kyle's still on the Elijah Mitchell train and waiting for him to finally integrate somebody in the steady flow of the run game. It'd be nicer if we did that earlier, though. I totally agree. All right, Korean Knight, I really appreciate any last things you want to say?
I'm just disappointed about Aaron Banks getting injured. He was playing pretty decently this year. That was called out too many times by the announce crews. So that means he was at least doing a very good job, and hopefully he'll be able to come back this season.
Yeah, he looked good. It might be an MCL type sprain, so we don't know. They're going to do an MRI, and we'll find out about that.
Yep.
Appreciate having you on, though.
Go ahead.
What's that?
MCL is better than ACL or anything.
Well, it's definitely better than ACL, but we might be looking at 6 weeks. It could, so we'll see. We'll see what grade that they give it at. All right, take care, man. Great having you on. You're welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and we're great having him on. His girl was a good guest. We're going to have John V here. What's up, John V? I know we were trying to have you on earlier and you were busy with some family and friends type stuff for the holidays. What's going on? What's going on in your mind? I didn't recap the full game just yet, but give us a general impression of what you thought from what you saw from the game.
Man, it was a good game, bro. I expected a beating like everybody else, but you know what? I'll tell you something, man. Tommy said it best, man, and he reminded me when we heard from Kyle earlier in the week. There'd been a bug going around the locker room. The guys were getting sick. They had flu going around. And there's a damn good chance that these guys weren't healthy. They weren't like they might have been flu sick. There's a bug going around. It hadn't hit the coaching staff, but it was affecting a few of the guys. So, there's that, there's that. So no excuses. Kyle's not going to make any excuses. Kyle's not going to make any excuses.
I was watching that game and I was thinking, did these guys party a little too hard on New Year's Eve or something? Like something is off with this team today, man.
No, man, I was making the same jokes, and I mean, it's true. When Tommy mentioned it earlier in the chat, it rang my bell, and I'm like, holy smokes, this is definitely something is missing here. These guys are not themselves. They can't be 100. So there's a good chance that these guys have a touch of the bug, and they're not 100, right? And E. Kizzle was just telling us that, it's not going to be cute and pretty every time. These guys are human. They're not going to be world beaters week in, week out, even though we expect them to be. But against this team, Vegas was tired of the shit talking. San Francisco wanted to destroy them, but you know what? It was just Brock Purdy played excellent. The kid checked the final box for I think most of us, for all of us, right? He came from behind. He made an amazing drive, connected with Ayuk. There were some drop balls. There were some errant throws today. So, but again, Purdy is a young kid. We cannot expect the world from him, but he made up for it. Family, he was efficient. And he stood in that pocket, man. He stood in the pocket all game. And he left when he had to. But I mean, his poise in the pocket, eyes downfield, guys. It's like I could have never have told you that I would feel this confident with the third string quarterback like Brock Purdy. I mean, I know we say this every time, Bash, but the kid he's just surprising us. This is the fourth game, and it feels like we've been rocking with Brock for like, I don't know, 8. You know what I mean? It's just the confidence that we have in the kid it's been unmatched. I'm like, I don't know. Today's game felt like a Seattle Seahawks game with Russell.
I'll tell you,
and the shitty refs. Go ahead.
I'll tell you this really quick. Brock Purdy has that element to his game where whenever you doubt him for whatever reason, like we watch the game, like, okay, well, he's not looking so great right now, and we're not looking so good as a team. But whenever you have those moments that you doubt him, it doesn't take too long for him to overcome that. That's how I know what I noticed. We have somebody else calling. I don't know who this is, but let me just take the gamble, just bring this person on. We'll figure it out how this goes. Landlord 84, I don't know who this is, but let's see what's up. Landlord 84, you're on. What's up?
Hey man, appreciate you guys letting me up and everything. How's you guys doing tonight? Happy New
Good.
Year.
What's your name? I don't recognize your screen name.
I mean, it's Landlord 84. This is my first time, this is my first time coming up here, and I'm a Niner fan, so it's not about to be no
That's
stuff
cool.
like that.
Well, where are you located?
I stay in Oakland.
Okay, you're a Bay Area guy. Cool. I
Yeah,
grew
I'm a
up in
Bay Area
Pinole
guy.
and I lived in San Jose, so this game must have been something special for you, right?
I mean, for me, I felt like this with even once Brock Purdy came along, I felt we needed to lose a game for him to deal with that part of it. And we didn't lose against Washington, but I didn't want that loss to be against the Raiders. And I'm so glad that we pulled this shit out because this was their Super Bowl. This was Raider fans' Super Bowl today, and they lost it, and we was able to get that. So, but I'm also glad that the Raiders did push us in this way because we needed that. We need that. If we're not gonna get a loss, we're not gonna get a loss, and we still fighting, to where we can get the number 1 seed. This game right here pushed us to a point to where, hey, now we know this kid Brock Purdy can come back and win games. It was a weird day. I don't understand what was going on with the defense and D'Amico Ryan and why we couldn't adjust and stop things, but this is what they needed.
It was a kick in the pit. It was a trap game. It was a trap game, but we somehow find a way to fucking win it. It was pretty weird, but I'll take it. I'll take it, man.
Exactly.
Especially against the Raiders. Growing up, the first sports team I ever grew up hating was the Raiders, so I didn't want to lose this game. Not at all.
Out of every sport in the world, I don't hate any other team except for the fucking Raiders. And I'm sorry, I don't know if you allow.
Hey man, let it out. It shows a passion. It shows a passion.
There's no team on this planet that I hate more than the fucking Raiders.
Hey, that's awesome.
That's just how it is. I mean, but this is my first time finding you, and I'm glad. Thank you for letting me up. And like I said,
you're welcome.
It's definitely a trap game, and like I said, I've been looking for us, even with the road that we've been going on and we've been winning. We needed a loss, but I think this is close enough to not having that loss for us to build on to where, man, hey, we get that number 6. Yeah, this is a gut check. We can get that number 6 now.
That would be nice. I mean, I'm like the last person that says we're going to win a Super Bowl in any season, regardless of how stacked our team is. But if you ask me, like, do I feel better about going into the playoffs this season in comparison to last season? I currently do feel better. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be very interesting.
You know what's crazy? I felt so good about last year going into the playoffs. I'm still kind of nervous on this season going into the playoffs. Last year with a worse record and everything, I felt we were a whole lot stronger. But we'll see. We're gonna see. Today with the Stidham kid, he took off running, a few plays and everything and got them first downs. They have to expect that if we're gonna end up against Jalen Hurts.
I totally agree.
We have to be able to control. We have to be able to control a quarterback that's willing to take off in the pocket.
It's frustrating, man, when you see a quarterback drop back and then we just start getting pressure, but the pressure it's all from one side it's like the pressure will only come from the right side, and then the left side of the field is just like empty and the guy's gone for like 10 yards. Yeah. And it's so frustrating. It happened multiple times, man.
But guess what? Guess who's the weak link on that defense? Lenore. Man, if we had Mosley, we wouldn't have these problems. They probably need to go ahead and put in who do we pick up?
Janoris Jenkins.
Janoris Jenkins might need to go ahead and get some playing time because Lenore has been killing us for the past 2-3 games. They've been attacking him, and Jesus, it's just bad. It's just so bad having him in the game. It's so bad having him in the game.
Good in zone. He's not as good in zone as he is in man, and he was playing a lot of zone today.
And man, he was getting shaken up by the running backs. It was so bad to see him get picked on today.
Well,
he was getting picked on so much today.
To John's point, they might have been sick, and that might have been evident in how they were missing tackles so much today. Like normally you don't see these guys miss tackles today, and they were wrapping up and were not able to bring them down. And once John was talking about they might have had a bug and it went around, I was like, oh, light bulb came on. That's why it was so uncharacteristic. Like, I understand giving up, big plays and past plays here and there, but like these guys are like day one, just great tacklers, and they were having issues with that today. And it didn't make sense until, because when you're sick and you get over it, you're not 100%. You know what I mean? So how are you going to be able to hold on to them like you normally would to drag them down?
And I get that, but I don't like to give excuses. These are grown men playing a goddamn grown sport. Sick or not, if you suit up and you go out there and you get on that fucking field, goddamn it, you got to make tackles.
Exactly.
If you're that fucking sick, you don't get on the fucking field if you're that fucking sick.
Landlord, we appreciate you having you on. Hey, don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you back again in the future. Say something in the chat, and I can open up these lines again because you did a great job. I just got other people waiting. We got Corey waiting right now.
It's all good,
hey,
man. Y'all go
we
ahead,
really
man.
appreciate you, man. Bang bang night again, right?
Bang
Take
bang,
care,
nigga. Oh my bad.
It's all good, man. Hey, man, you've been awesome, man. You've been awesome. Take care, man.
Good. All right, y'all.
All right, we're gonna bring on Corey Davis. How you doing, Corey? What's up, man?
I'm doing good. Happy New Year.
It's Corey
Happy
Davis
New Year, Corey. What's on your mind, man?
Oh, this was a game. I didn't think it was gonna be like this. I was like, thinking that we were gonna blow the Raiders out, but then I was over my nephew's house and they opened the Raiders with a whole bunch of Raider fans and Niner fans, and we was dancing. I said, y'all Raiders keep on dancing because y'all stay at home. We still in the playoffs.
Yeah, they wanted to they still kind of had a shot to make it to the playoffs, and they wanted to show us up with the whole old school 49er Bay Area rivalry, even though they're no longer in the Bay. And they stepped up. They looked like they were going to take this from us. They looked like they were going to make us look stupid today.
So do y'all think that deep ball to Devontae Adams, do you think it was a catch or incomplete pass? The last one.
Yeah, when I saw it live, I was like, oh, damn, he caught it. Then when they were replaying it, I had my doubts. But they didn't zoom in on it properly for me to really, really, truly say it was a pure catch or if it hit the ground. It was still up in the air. But I don't know, man. And what did you think, Ryan? Did you see that one? We lost you again with the audio, right? Oh, there you go. On that Devontae Adams play where they threw it deep to him and Devontae Adams dove on the ground to catch it. It looked like the ball may have hit the ground, but they replayed it. They reviewed it. They reviewed it, but yeah, it was the call stood basically.
Oh, that was the one right before they kicked the field goal to tie it up to.
Yeah.
What was it? 27-27?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't. When I rewatched it, I was actually stuffing my face, I think, at that point, or looking and doing something else. And I remember going, "Oh, that was a play that I want to look at," and I was like, "Never mind," and just like kept on going. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't stop and like go back over stuff because, like, when I jumped in the chat, I had just gotten to the point where I got into the stream of the game. You know what I mean? Like real time. So that was 5 minutes before. So I didn't have much time to spare I watched the game before it.
Oh, yeah, anything else you want to point out for the game that you like, Corey? Anything that you noticed or you want to talk about?
I think I like I wanted Bosa to break the sack record today, but it didn't happen. But he did cause that interception at the end of the game. He the one
Totally bull rush the offensive tackle straight into Stidham, even though he couldn't sack Stidham himself. And that ball just just hung up in the air like a punt, right? And then Tyshawn Gibson gets the ball and almost takes it to the house.
And then that pass from Purdy to Ayuk, one he just threw, he got hit. He just looked like he just threw it up there. And I'm like, people, oh my God, that ball's up there. It's gonna probably get intercepted. But Ayuk
Ayuk saved he saved Purdy on that one because that ball easily could have been picked off, and it hung up in the ball, and that ball hung up in the air in similar fashion, the same way the Tyshawn Gibson, interception hung up. Yeah. All right, Corey, we got Brian Culp waiting patiently, but great having you on. Any last things you want to say really quick before you go?
Go 49ers.
There you go. Go Niners, man.
Arizona. And hold my brother Brian Cup.
He's coming on.
Hello, Ryan.
All right, take care, man.
All right.
Great to have you on, Corey.
Have a wonderful evening, Corey.
All right, what's up, Brian? How you doing? Happy New Year's, man. Corey's the shit.
Hey, Bashar. I think this is the first time we've gotten to talk actually live.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Good to have you on.
Shout out to Corey Davis. He's the GOAT. If you guys don't know, he's everywhere. He truly is. He's the GOAT. Corey has me on his shows a lot, and I really, truly appreciate Corey. He's great.
Yeah, Corey's awesome.
But, I wanted to call, and I wanted to ask you like 2 or 3 questions, if it's all right. First question, Bashar, what's your favorite pizza?
My favorite pizza in terms of what? Like style?
When you say I'm coming over, Brian, or you're coming to my house and I'm making you pizza in my backyard, what pizza are you going to make? What's your house pizza?
Okay, so my pizza, I always make New York style pizzas. I did make a Sicilian style pizza recently, which was actually pretty good, but usually my go-to pizza is a New York style combination pizza. And it kind of goes away from typical New York pizza standards because New York pizza, it's either like a plain cheese pizza or a freaking pepperoni or maybe a meat lovers, but they're pretty simple with the toppings. But I like combination. Combination is really popular with all the chains, and it's got to be a New York style combination for me.
Love it. Yeah, I love combination. That's my probably favorite pizza. I'm a big New York style guy. Love pineapple pizza as well. And but hey, the other questions that I wanted to ask you is, overall, like out of all the teams in the NFL, who is that one team you just love?
For me, it's the Raiders. That's the first team I grew up hating, and probably the team that I hate the most. So, yeah, but I didn't get to enjoy this win as much as I normally would because we almost lost. So, but yeah, definitely the Raiders.
For me, 100% the same way. All my brothers, I got 3 brothers. They're all Raider fans. My dad's a Raider fan. I grew up the Olding Niner fan. I was lucky enough to marry a beautiful wife. My wife's name's Tony. She's a 49er fan, so I got lucky there. But her family is primarily Raider fans as well. So it's like 2 Niner fans have each other. Me, like it was really exciting because I got to after the last seconds of the game. And really it did. And it was really my brother he was working on stuff, popping now to check the score. But my last question, I guess, everything. You guys think Robbie Gould is retired? Win the Super Bowl this year.
What about Robbie Gould? Say it again.
If we win the Super Bowl.
Do I think he's going to retire if we win the Super Bowl? I assume he would. I don't know how much he has left on his contract, but that pretty much would cap off his long career. So I assume, but something tells me that he would just come back and play anyways. It seems like he just loves the game. He almost lost the game for us today too, by the way, which is pretty disheartening. What can we do? I also say what's up to Shabs in the house. He says, "Hey, what a game! wasn't our best show, but we pulled out a win. We sure did. And it looks like yeah. Any other questions before you go? 'Cause I got somebody else waiting, Brian.
I just wanted to call in, say hi, and, really happy that the Niners pulled out the win, and everybody stay faithful. Go Niners, and look forward to seeing you, talking to you.
Great having you on, man. Take care. Happy New Year. All right. Go Niners.
Take it easy, Brian.
So we're gonna bring on Shifty, low down, gritty, and grimy. What's up, Shifty? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Bashar?
Great to finally see you on my channel. I know I've been want to have you on my channel as a regular guest one of these days. But what's on your mind, man? I know you do your. By the way, guys, check out Shifty 49ers YouTube channel. He does. Yeah, right, Ryan. You got a lot of background noise coming in.
I do.
So on Ryan's side, it was doing it on the last call too. But yeah, for those of you who do not subscribe to Shifty's 49ers channel, definitely check him out because he does a live play-by-plays during the Niner games if you're interested in that. And also check out No Border Sports. That's Ryan's YouTube channel. What's going on in your mind though? What do you got going on today?
It's just the game was nothing near what I expected it to be. Really good game, and I think that it was a good game for the 49ers in terms of, look, our defense got tested in a lot of different ways, so I'd like to think that they can make the adjustments heading into the playoffs. Brock Purdy had to play from behind, so that's a huge thing too. But one of the things that I just think that gets overlooked is, well, there's two things. Is number one, just how good Christian McCaffrey is, and number two is that the pass rush of the 49ers is pretty much lacking. If Bosa ain't getting there, no one's getting there. And that's what I want to hear your guys' thoughts on, the fact that, look, we know Bosa, he's 2 sacks away from Aldon Smith's record, but let's just say, for example, if in the wild card or whatever that Bosa isn't himself, then who's getting after the quarterback? In 2019, we had D Ford, Armstead, Buckner, but we don't have that guy now. And I'd like to think that maybe Ebukam steps up. I'd like to think that Jordan Willis, Armstead, whoever, but that's my concern, is that outside of Bosa, who's the guy who's getting pressure on the opposing quarterback? And so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
Ryan, do you want to go first? I think Ryan's having some. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, I was having problems with my button. I think Jordan Willis is the guy, actually. I think he's the unsung hero of the crew. I think, what did we see from him last year in the playoffs? Seems like once somebody believes in him, he gets this extra gear and he can't be stopped. And I really feel it's him. I mean, Ebukam's been around a while. He hasn't shown us much. You know what I mean? Willis has shown us more in a couple of games than, Ebukam did last season, as far as impact on a game. You know what I mean? I think it's Jordan Willis.
I was going to say Shifty. Yeah, Jordan Willis looked pretty good today, actually. He forced a holding call. But you're right. I mean, other than Bosa, we don't have that one consistent guy. Now, every now and then in a collective effort, certain guys will step up, but you never know who it's going to be. But it's not. And even though Armstead did come back too, I don't know. We need a little more in the pass rush. John V's finally back. He's on his computer at his house. Welcome back, John V. We got Shifty on here. Shifty, you have any other questions you want to ask us? I know it was a pretty gut-wrenching game, man. But hey, we pulled it off,
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm super stoked that we managed to, and this is what good teams do, is that, look, if you look at every good team in the NFL who's won the Super Bowl, they've lost games unless you go back 50 years with the Dolphins. But so every good team will lose a game, and we didn't lose this game. We won this game, and I think there was plenty of opportunities for us to win this game. I think that looking forward with the 49ers, number one, I just think that someone else outside of Bosa needs to step up. Even in the playoffs last year, we would see it against the Cowboys, against the Packers in the playoffs last year. Bosa maybe wasn't getting the sacks all the time, but there was Armstead was right there. Ebukam was right there. Someone else was right there. And I think that one of those guys they just need to step up. But this year it might be a little bit different for the 49ers. Maybe we need to score 27 plus points if we want to keep advancing through the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I think that the Niners still have a really good chance to win the Super Bowl. I do think, and the crazy thing is, like, I never would have said this a month ago, but I think that the Niners are probably better off with Brock Purdy than Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that Brock Purdy brings a lot of the characteristics that Jimmy brings, but also he brings that mobility where it's like, we saw it multiple times against the Raiders where the play call, maybe that the Raiders, they called the perfect call to stop it, but Purdy is able to move his way out of it. Even if he throws it out of bounds, Jimmy would always try and make the play. And as much as you might respect that, that also leads to a lot of untimely interceptions. So I think that the Niners are in a very good position. I think that Brock Purdy's playing well beyond his draft status. But my one concern is that going up against Philadelphia, Minnesota, possibly Green Bay, Dallas, or the AFC, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, is there someone else besides Nick Bosa who can pressure the quarterback? And that's my only concern. Otherwise, I think that we're pretty darn good.
You know, there were points in times in this game where we weren't getting pressure at all, and we were only rushing 4 guys. I was like blitz an extra guy, please. We might have to be more consistent with the blitz, and that's how I look at it. You know, I love the way Hufanga blitzes. Warner is a decent blitzer. I don't want to blitz the whole game, but that might be what we have to do. And I predicted that Drake Jackson would get 10 sacks this year. I was way off. I was going off of what they were saying in training camp and preseason, and I thought he was going to be the guy to step up and be the guy to help out Bosa. But he's good, but he's not as good as I wanted him to be.
Bashar, you're 100% right. I actually, and I'm not trying to cut anyone off here, but yeah, I did like a video, like a pre-season prediction video, and I had Ebukam having like double-digit sacks.
There you
he
go.
has like 4.5. So
we thought somebody was going to step up. Ebukam got held though really bad on that one touchdown though. Or what touchdown it was the one to Devontae Adams where the Stidham had rolled out to the left hand side of the field. Ebukam got hold big time on that play. What's up, John V? Good to have you back, man. I know we were having some issues with your cell phone and all that.
That's what I get.
Hey, I'm out here, bro.
On the road, bro.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Ryan, take
Shifty,
care, man.
nice meeting you.
Ryan from No Border Sports. So.
You hear me?
Nice to meet you too, John V. Thank you.
Oh yeah, John V's here from the Locker Room Rant. I don't have his description of his YouTube channel, but I can go ahead and put it in here. It's a show that he does with a Buffalo Bills fan and a Browns fan. It's a great show. But yeah, Shifty, it's good to have you, man. I know I was trying to get you to collab with me for quite some time. I want to just catch up with some of the comments in the chat and some people that I missed. We got what's his name? G Rod is here. Been a while since I've seen you here. Great to have you. Got Stevo Supremo's here. I know I probably missed somebody else that was here earlier. I just don't want to miss anybody. I always want to say what's up. We got Cowboy Angel. It's Armstead. He's talking about Armstead. And Shabs had a question. He said, did you cover that last possession before overtime? Why did we go for the pass? I didn't cover that yet, but I'm not sure which play you're talking about. You're talking about the play right before. It's probably talking about how we didn't I don't know. I'm not sure which play he's talking about. I'm not sure if you guys remember. He said, I think it was before we missed the field goal with Robbie Gould or something. Yeah. Yeah, man. Usually I say, hey, I was hoping, knock on wood, I was just telling my friend that, like, oh, we're probably going to blow this team out. And I just hope it's going to be a really, really healthy game. And it sucks that Aaron Banks did go down. Having, in my opinion, he was our second best offensive lineman this year. So, it's up in the air whether he might be out 1 week, 2 weeks, up to 6 weeks maybe. We don't know if it's going to be an MCL sprain or not. The MRI will tell us that. So
we'll definitely see. I actually, I want to hear John V's opinion on this, but to me, look, I know that this guy has gotten a lot of criticism from 49er fans, and probably deservedly so. but I think that Mike McGlinchey was really good today. He was basically Max Crosby for the Raiders, who was an all-pro last year, who's had like maybe 11 and a half, 12 sacks this year, who's a really good player, was almost exclusively put on his side of the he was on the left defensive end, like 49ers right tackle for most of the game. And I thought McGlinchey had a great game. I know he's faced criticism, deservedly so, has a lot of like bad penalties, blah, blah, blah. But I thought McGlinchey was really good today.
He was very good. He was getting into the second level today. Like, he had a great game today. Look, at the end of the day, I still want to revisit. I know one of your callers, Bash, wasn't really crazy about the potential illness that was going through the locker room there. Look, you guys, I mean, we didn't look like the number one defense today, but I mean, that doesn't go to say that we're supposed to look like the number one defense day in, day out, week after week after week after week. It's part of the game, right? Like, matchups are matchups. Today, Stidham looked like Rodgers.
Peyton Manning.
He was just cutting us up, right? Just cutting us up, putting the ball in space, getting behind the safeties. They were just exposing some of the things that this defense needs exposed. So either we don't have answers for what's happening to us because Heineke did it last week. Either we don't have the answers, or we are, from a metric standpoint, you're trying to expose your team to see, are you battle tested for the playoffs? Brock Purdy checked the final box for me. I said this earlier. He came from behind, drove the ball down the field, put us in position. I think that every element of our game right now is hinging on the third string quarterback. So, Shifty, McGlinchey was phenomenal today. Was he phenomenal all season? Hell no. We know this. But I mean, he hears the criticism. You hear it ad nauseum. You log on to Twitter, and McGlinchey was getting tossed around like a rag doll. So at the end of the day, be better. Just be better, bro. I know you could do it. And like it or don't, they're going to have to consider picking up the 5th-year option because we don't have anybody else.
I still want them to try and find his replacement at the same time. And while the game was going, I was actually texting my friends back and forth about what was going on. And I was between points and times of the game, I was going to type like, oh, McGlinchey's looking really good today, or he's doing a great job. But I was like, I don't want to jinx it. I feel like if I mention his name, if I utter his name, I'm just going to see that shitty McGlinchey play where he gets fucking bulldozed into the quarterback or something. So I was like, I noticed that when Max Crosby was on him, Max Crosby's almost like a poor man's Bosa. Well, Raider fans would tell you that he's better than Nick Bosa. I've heard that conversation multiple times, but I don't believe that at all. But he was McGlinchey. They actually said that he had some rib injury that I didn't even know about. He was coming off of that thigh injury, right? And then I didn't know he had some ribs injury. So maybe those two things got in the way of his play. And he used to be a dominant, amazing run blocker. And I noticed this season, I'm like, where is this amazing, dominant run blocking? I know your pass blocking is not good, but at least let's just see the run blocking. And I'm like, I'm not seeing any of that. I'm seeing neither from you. Like, what are we doing with you? Like, what are you doing on our team?
Bash, to be fair, bro, I mean, he came back from an injury that many, many men haven't. The guy's meat was off the bone. I mean, look, I'm not in the business of making excuses for people, but these guys are gladiators of the sport, right? They put their bodies through an immense amount of trauma, so to speak. So, I mean, McGlinchey's had some ups and downs between weight loss, weight gain. He's battled injuries. Look, at this point, he's there. He's on the field. He's putting it out there. I give the guy credit. Look, you know what, Bash, you've said it before. You will give props to those who rightfully deserve it. You will not just tear anyone down. just because it was the thing to do from the week to week. You will get your props, you get your flowers, you get everything good that comes your way as long as you produce. Lately, he hasn't been a problem. He really has not been a problem. Today, Fred Warner was a problem. Today, Trent Williams was a problem. Together, they broke a drive, bro. They set us back. They cost us points. And we have to be willing to hold those guys accountable. If we're going to hold guys accountable, you have to hold your studs accountable because they're staples and they're captains. So you've got to be willing to hold them accountable when they're failing you.
So let me read some comments really quick. Steve Supremo says broken ribs take 2 months and he hurt them in week 8. Yeah, it wasn't an injury that they really publicized or anything like that until the very end. Warowski says it hurts to cough or laugh when you have broken ribs, and this dude plays in the NFL. What I wanted to do really quick was go over the stat line really quick. Brock Purdy was 22 for 35, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And Christian McCaffrey, CMC, 19 carries, 121 yards, 6.4 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. He was my MVP. He looked awesome today. Ayuk, they gave the ball to Ayuk on a jet sweep. I wish they would have done it more often during this season, but one of those for 16 yards. They did it to Danny Gray. He got one carry for 9 yards. As far as the receiving goes, Brandon Ayuk had 9 catches for 101. He's on his way to get 1,000 yards. I think he might get 1,000 yards next week. CMC 6 catches for 72 yards and 2 catches 46 yards for Juwan Jennings. Only 4 catches for only 23 yards for him. Kittle, but he did get a touchdown. And Ray 1 catch for 42 yards. He had 1 awesome play. So Purdy does a great job of spreading the ball around. If you look at the stat line, there's very rare that you see one guy just get like a fuck ton of yards and nobody else gets anything. So, when I was mentioning CMC, Shifty, I was thinking about how during your live during your live streams when you do the live play-by-play, whenever CMC gets a touchdown or makes a big play, you're like, CMC.
Run CMC. There we go. CMC.
Dude, man, that's like an amazing acquisition. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. That was like the move of the year for the NFL.
Well, and I think that, and look, I will be the first to admit, because anyone can click on my channel and be like, let's look at the video. When the trade happened, I actually thought that we overpaid for Christian McCaffrey. 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick in 2023, and then a 5th round pick in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. I did think that we actually overpaid for him, but look, at the end of the day, McCaffrey has been such a huge difference maker. Like, look, before Brock Purdy came into the equation, like we saw Jimmy Garoppolo against the Rams in LA. Like, who was his go-to guy? It was McCaffrey. McCaffrey even threw a touchdown pass and caught it, a touchdown pass in LA. But McCaffrey has been so good for us. And it is one of those trades where I think that it actually worked out really well for both teams, where I have a buddy of mine who's a big Panthers fan, and he was, look, the Panthers, since McCaffrey has left, they've been running the ball really well. Look, they're not going to the playoffs. The Panthers realistically never were going to the playoffs, but they've actually been running the ball really well since he left, and they get draft picks. So I think it's one of those trades that works out really well for both teams. But like when it comes to me, I think what McCaffrey brings is the fact that, and like one of the things that like I feel most comfortable about is like, imagine, so let's say it's 1st and 10 at the opponent's 48-yard line, right? Like a part of you wants to be aggressive, a part of you wants to, let's just run the ball up the middle, but you come out in a shotgun, right? And then McCaffrey splits out wide, does a little move, and then you pass it to him. He gets like 8 yards. All of a sudden, it's 2nd and 2 at their 41. You have the entire playbook, plus you're also potentially in scoring position. And I think that's where McCaffrey is so good, where he can do anything and everything. And we've seen it, like even today against the Raiders. It was a perfect example. Christian McCaffrey, he doesn't go down easy. He doesn't fumble the ball. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. Look, he had a drop. There was, I think it was maybe 1st or 2nd and 10. Purdy hit him on a really good pass from Purdy. It could have been a first down in a crucial point. He dropped it, but at the end of the day, McCaffrey had almost 200 yards all purpose, and just plays really well. He had a touchdown. It's just like when I think about the 49ers, my only concern after this game, because now I've seen Brock Purdy in the 2-minute drill. I've seen Brock Purdy make clutch plays. I've seen all these guys step up. Now the only concern is, look, if the 49ers can shut down the Cardinals next week, and I think that they should, then what's to stop this team from going to the Super Bowl? And I question anyone. I'm not saying that anyone here, but I would say that like anyone, like the average NFL fan might be like, well, if they had Jimmy Garoppolo, they'd be more likely to go to the Super Bowl. I'd be like, tell me like 2 things that Jimmy Garoppolo does better than Brock Purdy. And if you can do that, I'll shut up.
They'll
But I
say
don't
he
think they
wins.
can.
He wins. He wins. That's
But
it's
Brock
always like
Purdy
whenever
does
you ask-
too. Brock
I know
Purdy
whenever
wins
you
too. He's
ask,
like, what,
people
3 or
about
4
Jimmy,
and 0 right
it's like
now.
the only response is that he wins. Like other than winning,
But so does Brock Purdy. So
exactly,
that's,
exactly. And again, I've been saying this multiple times over. The thing about Brock Purdy, sure, he does certain types of things similar to what Jimmy does in that game manager type mode, but from time to time, he's not afraid to throw the deep shot down the field. For the most part, he's been successful with it. Today he got picked off. I get it, no big deal. It happens to everybody, but at least he took the shot. He took the risk, right?
That's on Kittle.
It's just the calmness of Brock Purdy is what I did not get from watching Jimmy, and the awareness, the mobility, the throwing the ball away, like you said, things like that. You just get more. It's Jimmy G plus a little more, and I think plus a little more will help get you over the hump, in my opinion.
Like I'm not trying to derail this by any means. Bashar, John, right this second, would you feel better about having the Garoppolo that we know, or Purdy that we've seen right now? Who would you guys rather have as we head into the postseason?
Go ahead, John.
I'm going to take Purdy. I'm going to take him twice on Sunday. I mean, look, Purdy is making small errant mistakes that Jimmy made as an 8 or 9 year veteran in this league. So it's like, I'm going to excuse this guy because he's just come in 4 games and changed the course of this entire playbook, changed our offense. I mean, with the addition of CMC, Purdy has just given Kyle the utmost confidence. I've never felt confident in the last few seasons with Jim. Granted, I will not take away from Jimmy what was happening prior to his injury. Jimmy looked different. And I've said this on this channel, my channel, a guest on any other channel. Greasy is to be commended for everything that he's done with the quarterbacks in this. I mean, I'd love to see what Trey Lance would have looked like with Greasy an entire offseason, the addition of CMC from the beginning of the season. Would have loved to have seen it because he is preparing our quarterbacks. And Jim was reading through progressions before the injury. He was making some good throws. He hadn't given the ball up. He hadn't turned it over. He was doing well. Okay. So Jimmy was quarterback. He was the backup to the starter, right? And now I'd rather have Purdy. Shifty, I'd rather have Purdy because I'm confident. I feel as a 49er fan that I have had none of that. Today was the most anxious and crazy I have ever felt. I couldn't feel my legs below my waist today. I was a nervous wreck. And it was not because of the quarterback play. It was because the number 1 defense in the league was getting sliced and diced any which way you put it. So, and the last time I felt that kind of anxiety was when Jimmy had the ball and we have to drive down the field and it's a 2-minute drill. I don't know, man. I felt like this was probably the most anxious and anxiety that I have felt. And it wasn't even the quarterback position.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much answered the question earlier. It's definitely definitely feel more comfortable going into the playoffs with Brock Purdy. And I think I mentioned it earlier. If you guys missed it, I mean, I'm the last guy that says, "Hey, oh, we're gonna win the Super Bowl this year. We're gonna win the Super Bowl." Blah 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 blah. I really really love this. I'm just all about. I'm more conservative when it comes to stuff like that. But if you're gonna say, "Hey, are we gonna? Do I feel more likely that we're gonna win a Super Bowl with Jimmy over Brock Purdy?" I'd probably feel more likely with Brock Purdy. But again, it's going way too fast in terms of the way I think, and I like to go look at things on a week by week basis at the same time. But it's just that people bring it up in the conversation. What up, Niner Gang Wolfcast? I see you, bro. Had you on the show recently. Great dude. Yeah, man, this is just a crazy game. I mean, I was actually recapping a lot of the stuff that was going on in the game. I didn't finish up the second half, and I kind of want to pick up off on that, and then we could talk about those type of plays and certain things that happened. I think that last where I left off was when the 49ers had kicked a field goal. I basically later in the game, the third quarter, it was the score. Actually, it was the fourth quarter. The score was tied 24-24. Later, we were at the ball, the 35-yard line. Brock Purdy had dropped back, and he was doing great with these screen passes. He threw a nice screen pass to Ray McLeod. He had daylight. Looked like he had daylight for a touchdown, actually. He's run up the field on the left sideline, and he went out on the 25-yard line, got stopped right there. We settled for a field goal, 27-24. Soon after that, Raiders tied it, man. Whatever we did, they answered back. They made a damn 57-yard field goal. I know it's in a dome, but I was not expecting them to make that. But then again, I feel like kickers always money against us. Later in the game, we had the ball at the 48-yard line with 3 minutes left and second down. And Purdy threw another screen pass to CMC this time. This time it was CMC. CMC breaks the tackle at the 30-yard line, brings it down to the 15-yard line. CMC's not the biggest guy, but he doesn't go down easy at the same time either. Then later, let's see. So soon after that CMC play, actually, we had the ball off to Jordan Mason on the left sideline. Boom. Runs it in just like people are trying to make these Marshawn Lynch comparisons, and I don't like to do that, but he looked pretty damn good, similar to what Marshawn Lynch did back in the day. 14-yard touchdown, 34-28 Niners at this point. 1 minute and 50 left. The Raiders had the ball at the 35-yard line. First and 20, Stidham airs it out to the 49ers 20-yard line to Devontae Adams. Diving catch. This was the play that people were saying that Devontae Adams possibly dropped the ball. But they reviewed it and said call stands. Soon after, it was first and goal. The Raiders punched it down the 2-yard line. It was tied 34-34 with a Jacobs touchdown. Did you think that was a catch, Shifty or John V?
John, all you, bud.
That was hot garbage. That was hot shit on a stick. that goddamn ball hit the ground. I don't give a damn what anybody says. If it wasn't Devontae, they overturned that call. It was Devontae Adams. Listen, he caters to headlines and situations. And with Derek Carr and all the bullshit that got him here, man, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, man. Vegas is the most crooked fucking place on planet Earth.
All the fucking flags today, dude. Oh my gosh, man.
There is no one from Las Vegas paying me, but I did think that was a catch. Here's the thing. The NFL doesn't really know what a catch is. Let's be real about that. The NFL is very ticky-tacky. It's like you could watch a replay and I could say that's a catch and it's not a catch, but I could also say that's not a catch and they'll call it a catch. Look, I think that at the end of the day, and maybe I'm being biased because regardless, the 49ers won. If the 49ers lost, maybe I'd be like, that's not a catch. What the fuck? But when I look at it, I think that it was great coverage by Diamador Lenore. People are like, Lenore shouldn't be covering Devontae Adams. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, would I prefer Mooney Ward on him? Sure. But also I'm like, that was great coverage. And like Devontae Adams, like brought the ball down, like kind of like within his arms. It wasn't like a clean catch or anything like that. And I think that I do think that was a good catch by Devontae Adams. If I'm trying to be impartial, like I think the NFL needs to relax the power that the officials have. That's just me. Whether it's like with regards to catching, whether it's with regards to pass interference, like when they called the pass interference against Fred Warner on Darren Waller that brought it to a 1st and goal at the 1, I was like, that's BS. Like that was a horrible call. Because if you're Fred Warner, like what else do you do in that situation? You can't do anything else. But they called it that and whatever. And at the end of the day, like we won. But I think that the NFL needs to review itself seriously. But to me, when it comes to that throw to Davante Adams, I'm like, I actually think he caught the ball. And I think that they should call, just in general in the NFL moving forward, I think that they should call it a catch more often than not. Simply because, I mean, you just look at like the effort that the Davante Adams went to make that catch is insane. It's insane that he caught that ball. He had no business catching that. Deommodore Lenoir hit the ball and he still caught it. But I think that, look, number one, I do think that the officials need to reel it in. But number two, if it's like that, I'm like, just that's a catch. That's so good.
When I saw that and I saw that they were reviewing it, the problem was I thought the angles weren't good. They weren't good where it was conclusive, where it was completely obvious, at least from my eyesight when I was looking at. It looked like it could kind of went either way, but it wasn't. There was no actual angle where they didn't bother to zoom in on it like they normally do. I don't know why they didn't do that, but I was just thinking, okay, well, if this is the best footage they have, I wasn't sure if it was or not, but if this is the best footage that they're going with, and Davante Adams being the big name guy that he is, they're just gonna make it a catch. And I told myself that, so to prepare myself, to condition myself, to not get pissed and to not lose my shit. And even if we did lose the game, whatever. But it was a scary moment. What Warowski says, he says, given the refs' power is part of the scam. He said, Lenoir had him covered beautifully. Where's Lenoir credit? I thought Lenoir did okay on that. I mean, he's playing against an amazing player. I get it, but in some of those type of situations,
on that play, on that particular play, Lenoir was lights out.
Exactly.
You got to judge it. Stand back and judge the game for its entirety, right?
Yeah, I agree.
It's 2023, man. The league has the capabilities of giving us better angles, bro. If you could put a camera in a pylon, you could put a camera on some asshat's kneecap who's standing from the 50-yard line to the end zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. You just don't want us to see every possible angle. Like you have this isn't hard. If you could put it in a piece of fucking foam, you can stick it somewhere else, So I just, in my opinion, it to me, Shifty, it is a remarkable opportunity to catch the ball, right? But there have been better catches than that we can ooh and ah at. Believe me, that particular catch has been made by average receivers in the league, bro. Have dove forward and made a catch at some capacity. But this is Davante Adams, and we're supposed to fucking twirl our fingers and blow fucking kisses because he's struggling in Vegas. And I just don't have a soft spot in my heart for him. You made that choice. You chose the bag over
and to play with his friend,
and to play with your friend. But you know what? Whatever. Like, I'm pro player, so I'm not going to sit here and be an asshole. But I don't feel sorry for you. You came here. Your buddy's hot shit on a stick, and you potentially paid for it this year.
I love the East Coast mentality. Man.
I just feel like, bro, that could have been a game changer. Like,
I just say fuck Davante Adams.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Essentially, I am. I mean, I am. And I don't even hate the guy, but the dude put me in like cardiac arrest today, bro. Like, he gave me like a cardiac.
He's great.
Like, I was miserable. I was miserable because of that play.
So I'm going to recap the rest of the game, and we don't have much to go. We don't have too much to go off of. Pretty much. So where I left off was what we tied. So the game was tied 34-34 after Jacobs got that touchdown. After that questionable catch, that was we had the ball after that, and we're moving the ball down the field a little bit, and it was that one play where Brock Purdy rolls to the left, and the pass was tipped, and IU catches it. jumps for it, makes a great play on the fucking ball. That, you know, if Ayuk doesn't jump for this ball and catch it, who knows? It may have been an interception. The ball hung up in the air a little bit like a punt. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be that bad Purdy play that I didn't want to see. I'm not trying to knock him or anything, but it was tipped and it would have looked really bad. But anyways, he catches it, the ball's at the 22-yard line, 20 seconds left. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's put this game away. Fuck the Raiders. Let's beat these motherfuckers. Robbie Gold, who's good as gold, misses 41 yards. Boom. And, you know, my heart sunk. I was like, oh, shit, dude, we're going to overtime. We go to overtime. The ball's at the 40-yard line, 2nd and 10. Stidham drops back. Bosa bulldozes Colton Miller straight into Stidham. The ball floats in the air, hangs up like a punt. On the left sideline, boom. Gibson intercepts it. Ball at the 37-yard line. We drive down a little bit, and we kick the game-winning field goal, and there you go, man. The Raiders tried to you know, play spoiler a little bit and, you know, win their little battle of the Bay or whatever. You know, they used to be a Bay Area team, and, you know, Stidham had an amazing game. And what was his stat line, dude? He looked like a freaking Hall of Famer out there, and it was killing me. 23 for 34, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jacobs had 69 yards and 17 carries, 4.1 a carry. And Devontae Adams, he's just a beast. Seven receptions, 153 yards, 21.9 per catch, 2 TDs, man. Waller had a touchdown too. He had 72 yards. Those guys were killing us. I see somebody new in the chat that I don't recognize, but let me say what's up. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. It says he who collects. Actually, that's his name. His screen name is Ambry Thomas hurt. Why isn't he playing? He's not. I don't think he's hurt. He had a terrible camp, and he just hasn't made his way on the field very much this year. What do you guys think about Ambry Thomas?
Well, I'll give my thoughts. I thought that last year he came in during a tough situation. I think one of his first starts was at Cincinnati when it was Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, yada, yada, yada. And he looked pretty bad. But one of my catchphrases on my channel is the butt counts. And the reason why I say that is week 18 against the Rams, we score a field goal in overtime to take us to the playoffs. Stafford looks to throw it to Odell Beckham, and it's Ambry Thomas who picks him off, gets his left and right butt cheek inbounds, the butt counts, and we go to the playoffs. And I wish that it ended up better, but ultimately, look, Ambry Thomas, I think, is a good depth piece. He played well when we needed him to. And I think that this year it's going to be the same thing where, like, yeah, I mean, look, maybe potentially we'll be down a cornerback. Maybe we'll have to go to, maybe it's a 5 wide receiver set. We need to bring in Ambry Thomas, and he's been there, been in the big situation, and been, you know, had a good play, and hopefully that he still makes that play. But I like Ambry Thomas. He went to Michigan. Michigan lost to TCU, and I'm kind of iffy about that because I'm happy that the underdog won. That was TCU, but I'm a huge Jim Harbaugh guy, so you know it's a bummer that
who's got better than us?
Nobody.
There you go. Well, yeah, the way I said it didn't really count, but I'll say this: Ambry Thomas, like you said, he had that great play against the Rams in the regular season last year. I was really happy, like, oh wow, we're developing a young cornerback, and he's making plays for us when it matters. This is great. He didn't look too bad in the playoffs either. I was like, okay, cool. We could build upon this. He's a nice little piece. And then this season comes around, and like, where is this guy, Ambry Thomas? He looked terrible the preseason. Like he had a bad camp, and why isn't this guy getting the field? What do you think, John V?
I mean, I agree. Listen, I remember D'Amico at a presser talking about Lenore and Ambry Thomas in the same discussion. And he actually used the terms that these guys are just not there yet, right? And then Lenore just comes out and just pulls out ahead, right? Do you guys remember that? Do you remember? Do you remember when Lenore and Ambry Thomas were in the same discussion? These guys just weren't quite ready yet, and Lenore pulls out ahead. Just has an amazing camp and just pulls out at the beginning of the season. Just Lenore has been better then he's been worse, right? So I'm going to give him a pass. I'm not really going to hold him accountable today. I'm not going to go bananas. It's more is Ambry going to develop over the course of the next season, over this off season, this camp, OTAs, whatever? Like, are we going to see, is Ambry going to separate himself from the practice squad? Is he going to try to compete, or are we just going to move on from him and just cut our losses? We've been patient with people. I do believe that he deserves it. I think we should try. I think we should try to develop him, and I think we should put forth everything we've got because we did for everyone else, right? So that being said, I still want to see Womack and how he does with a full off season. So I don't think we're in bad shape. I think the only thing with my concern in the secondary is Hufunga. He's just been given up.
He got beat by Waller pretty bad today.
He's getting beat over the top. He's pressing, or he's pressing. He's not covering. He's like like it's like if it's a zone man. If we're trying to disguise something, like he's fucked up somewhere in between, right? He bites elsewhere. He's leaving guys. He's getting burnt. Like I don't know, man. I think that Hufunga's a liability right now. And it's a habit. It's not even like, it's not a one-off. But Ryan was right earlier in the show. I was watching when he said he's not making the same mistake consecutively. Okay, like that's a fact. But I'm still not willing to risk it. It's that one fucking time that he blows the coverage. It could be costly for us. So that's just, and I love the kid. Like I'm not, don't take my criticism the wrong way. Like I love the kid. I mean, it's hard to be a 49er fan and not love the kid. He's given you no reason to. Okay. He's made some mistakes, but I love the guy. I think he's an amazing human being. And I think his heart's in the right place. I think his mind's in the right place. And I think his development is on pace. So he's going to make some errant mistakes, but those are the ones that concern me the most. I know we can say Lenore this, we can say Lenore that, but today he had a pretty decent game. And on that debatable catch, that coverage was spot on. He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and definitely on that play.
I mean, I'm going to give him his flowers and just say, on that particular play, there were other plays that were concerning, but
yeah. And as far as Lenore goes, don't forget that in the preseason, everybody was talking about Womack as a nickel corner, and Womack was looking amazing at one point, and then regular season comes around. Here comes Womack was no longer the starting nickel corner, and Lenore stepped in, and then all of a sudden now, because of injuries, Lenore's the starting corner opposite Mooney Ward. And after I recapped the game, I was talking about how obviously went over the plays in overtime, and obviously right before overtime, what was going through your guys' minds, like when Gold missed that field goal right before overtime, and then when we get to overtime, did you guys have good feelings in your stomachs, or what were you guys feeling?
Feelings, get the hell out of here! I was like, what the fuck?
I lost
Robbie,
my
when he missed. When he missed it, I was like, man, this is it just to me, it felt like, and like this happens to any good football team, but I was just kind of like, this isn't our day. Like, look, Brock Purdy, a rookie 7th round pick, drove us all the way down to the opponent's 23. And we have a shot. It's a 41-yard. We're not talking 50. We're not talking 60-yard field goal. And Robbie Gould missed it. And when he missed it, and I'm not like a negative. I'm trying not to be a negative Nancy or anything, because at this point I know that we actually won the game. But I was pretty freaking disappointed. I couldn't believe it. I mean, look, Robbie Gould is. I don't mind if you can't hit a 60-yarder, fair enough. If you're like, this distance, that's my limit, and fair enough, whatever. But if you're a kicker who's been in the league for over 20 years And if you can't hit a 42, 43 yarder, that's on you. And that's where my whole thing was like, Robbie Gold, this is actually on you. Like
with
you
no
missed,
elements in a dome. Like
it's like you missed this. This is on you. Now look, of course, I want us to, stop the opposing offense. I want us to get the ball back where we can win and be the NFC Championship, whatever. But also, it's like this is a 41-yard field goal attempt. Like, if you can't hit this, then how can we trust you in the Super Bowl? How can we trust you in the biggest moment that there is? And Robbie Gold, look, I love the guy. He's actually been really reliable for the 49ers, but I think that really hurt it. And at the end of the day, it's where, I'm like, I think this 49ers defense is so good and our offense is so good, but I actually, it's weird to say that. I think it's the kicker that's actually holding us back.
oh wow, okay. Let me see what's up to Gina, repping the Day Productions. What up, Gina? Says what's up, Bashar? Says hey, John V. How you doing? Great to have you in the chat. Warowski, if you're still watching, I did drop the link in the chat. So you said you're trying to call in. I'll drop it in one more time. Warowski, you're just trying to get on. I'll go right ahead. Yeah, John V, what were you thinking about what led up to when Gold missed it or when Warowski's here actually. Yeah, Warowski, great over in Southern California. How you doing, bro?
What's up, guys?
Great to have you on here, man. What were you thinking about the game? Any thoughts?
Let's face it, we're the team that was 3-4, right? That's
yes,
a hell of a run.
We were.
There's no undefeated teams in the NFL. So in the end, all that matters is the W. Our defense didn't play great, but they also won us the defense in overtime. The defense won us the game in overtime.
Yes, sir. I sure did.
So nobody's undefeated. The best team supposedly in the NFL is the Eagles. They've had their losses. So we're playing ball, man. The reason I jumped on Bashar is it's hard to type. I made a comment. I think Shifty said something like the Adams catch. He made it was such a great play that maybe you should give to him. And that's when I said, well, shit, Lenore had him covered. You're taking the ball. What about Lenore? That was a hell of a play covering Adams, who was toasting dudes today. He even toasted Ward. The NFL gives too much power to the refs. They control the game. We've seen it before. As far as I'm concerned, we lost a big championship game to Seattle because of refs. I think we lost the Chiefs game, Super Bowl game because of the refs. But that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But again, this was the best thing that could have happened to us. Let's face it, our secondary is going to get exposed because you're not going to beat us through the run game. You're not going to beat our linebackers. And I hope Greenlaw's okay. But you're not going to beat us there. You're going to have to. And Lenore would fall how far would he fall in the Denver? Remember, our starters were Verrett and Mosley. And then we got Travarius Ward. So come on, man. Injuries, Bashar, you say it right. You're not one to say we're going to win the Super Bowl. You're absolutely right because anybody could be eliminated in 1 week due to injuries. And we've already had 2 big injuries at corner. We've had injuries.
No way. Get out of here.
We've had injuries at running back. This team's just chugging along, man. Remember, we started 3-4. This is a hell of a run.
Oh, yeah. And John V and us and John V and myself have been saying this week by week. And, he says this team has, we've embraced the whole next man up mentality. It's like that's definitely the sign and character of this team. And I was predicting this team would be like 10-7 this year or 11-6. And they've exceeded my expectations without a doubt, and crazy with all the injuries. But we fought back from all these injuries. but how many more injuries can we really sustain at the same time? You know, it's like we definitely got to be careful in that regard, without a doubt. Did you go to any games this year, Warowski? Did you try to hit up any games or?
No, I'm down here in Long Beach, and then my work schedule it stops me from going to games, and it also I miss a lot of the games, but I record them on home, and then I come home and watch them.
Okay, got you. Well, I was gonna say maybe we're gonna try to check out one of those Rams games, huh? Whenever we play down there in Levi South.
You can try. That's another reason why I don't really do the videos no more. Is I don't really have time anymore.
Oh, okay.
And it's different to when you watch the game. It's right after the game come out and record something, and now I might watch the game 1 or 2 days later.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, yeah. If you have 1 or 2 days later, I got you. Yeah, I was trying to connect you on social media so I can try to get you on as like a guest for a whole entire show. So one of these days we're gonna try to work out something like that. If you're on Instagram, you can add me on there or on Twitter so we can message each other back and forth. Easy to find me for anybody that wants to connect to me on social media. Just search 49er Minded on any platform. You can always find me. Yeah, man. I know Warowski ran a YouTube channel himself. I think he still has the channel up, but he doesn't make videos anymore. But he has a really good he was doing making some nice 49er videos back in the day. And he was doing some funny trash talk stuff to the other fan bases out there. So it was something we all appreciated when we watched it, man. Yeah, I mean, I know, Borowski, do you have any like fandom experiences? Like, you know, because the Raiders were once an LA team, right? And for me, growing up in the Bay Area, like the Raiders were like the team that I always hated the most. So it just feels good. Like if we lost the Raiders, it would just had brought me down, you know, in some type of way today.
No, I'm just I'm one of those guys that there's only one team in the NFL and the rest don't matter to me. I don't like them. I hate them all equally. There's only one team I like, and that's it.
There you go, man. All right. So, anything else you want to talk about before? Because we're probably gonna wrap this up in a minute or so. We've been on here way longer than we normally are, actually. And you know, if you have anything else you want to talk about, we can go ahead and talk about it really quick.
Yeah, just real quick. I think Purdy is exactly what this team needed. Even since the Harbaugh teams, we just needed a quarterback to get the ball from A to B. That's all we needed. And I don't know how many times I made a comment and I get a lot of flack. Shifty said, what's one thing that Jimmy does better? Overthrow receivers. Overthrow wide open receivers. That's the one thing Jimmy does better than Purdy. Purdy's accuracy. See, this team, and this goes back to Harbaugh. You don't have to be the all-star at quarterback. You just got to protect the ball and do your job. You don't have to run like Kaepernick, and you don't have to, you know, have a strong arm. Just get the ball to the playmakers. It's all you got to do. And this is why I like Purdy. And I also I don't like the gimmicks of the running quarterback. Just get the ball to the playmakers. Let them run the ball. So that's my take on Purdy. That's why I'm kind of hyped on this guy. Just get the ball. We got playmakers. Get them the ball. That's all you got to do. Just get them the ball. Stand back and watch.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun show so far in terms of this 49ers season. I mean, with all these weapons that we got, addition to CMC and watching these guys make all those crazy, the Yak brothers, they're in full effect. You know, Kittle's now making plays, and it's been a lot of fun, man. Appreciate having you on, Roski. It's a happy New Year to you, and we always appreciate you. I always love seeing you when you're on in the chat, and cool to actually have you on. Finally, have you on my show, man. Actually, I had you on once before a while back. It was last year or something like that.
I had a internet problems. I was.
Yeah, I remember you were barely on. Yeah, that's cool. Cool to have you on now, though, man.
All right,
great to see you. Take care, man. Awesome, man. We appreciate you, man. Take care, man. All right, so that was great to have Worowski on here. He's a former 49er YouTube content creator. I mentioned Gina in here. Check out her YouTube channel, Gina Reppin' the Day Productions. Sentinel's here. What's up, Sentinel? Been an amazing show. Great turnout in the chat. Awesome to have a lot of people contribute. So we have, John V from the Locker Room Rant here. Shifty was able to stop by from the 49ers Talk. Shifty 49ers Talk. If you guys want to plug yourselves really quick or any final thoughts, go ahead and have at it, man.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for checking out my channel. And I do live 49er streams for whatever 49er game are the big game that's going on. Tomorrow, I will be doing Bengals and Bills. It's going to be a lot of fun. Outside of that, then just come on out, hang out at the channel, and we talk about all things 49ers football, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But from that, I will hand it over to John and Bashar.
There you go, John. Go ahead.
Shifty, appreciate it, man. It was good to finally meet you, bro. I enjoyed it. Listen, you guys can find me at the Locker Room Rant. We cover just about all the football. We do basketball. We talk it all. We do whatever you guys want to talk about. Bills fan, Niners fan, and a Browns fan. The Browns fan kind of sucks, but we enjoy busting his balls anyway. We have a lot of fun doing it.
Poor Nick.
He sucks. But it's a good time, man. We're best friends. We're like brothers. We just chop it up. I appreciate you, Bash. Thanks for having me, man. Shifty, always a pleasure. The chat is amazing, Bash. I always tell you, bro, you got one of the best chats in the game, man. Everybody's
I try.
cool.
I try. They're the ones who make it happen, not me.
They're a good time, man. They're a good time.
Yeah.
I just got to tell you a little bit about the Buckeye game last night with the missed field goal. Kind of like put me in a bad place today, bro. I was going through it. Like, I'm a diehard Buckeye fan, so like that's another problem. Like that game last night destroyed me. We basically were beating the bricks off Georgia, and we made a final drive, man, and we just needed to seal the deal with a field goal. We missed it by a lot. We missed it by a lot. But that being said, the Niners put me through it today. When Robbie missed that field goal, I started having like PTSD. I started like, yelling. I don't know, bro. Like,
Wish I saw a video of you.
I told you, bro, I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel anything above my knees. Below my waist, above my waist, bro, I was numb. I felt like I was just losing it, bro. But at the end of the day, Gina's right. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. The Niners,
Bashar, who is your Bay Area college team?
I grew up watching Cal football a lot, and then it was to a point where I kind of stopped watching Cal football. And then when Harbaugh was doing big things at Stanford, I was interested in Stanford for a bit. So now it's kind of like I'm kind of in between Cal and Stanford right now. I know it sounds really bad, but it sounds terrible to say that. But I'm not diehard about college football like I used to, and I'm a big supporter of the Pac-12. I love watching, just watching certain Pac-12 teams succeed, and I'm not really so that partial about college football anymore, where I have one team or the other like I used to be. But with NFL, it's strictly Niners, obviously. Let me just answer this question really quick before we go. G-Rod says, anyone got their SF Gold wine bottle at Costco? I've seen those at Costco. I was tempted to buy one, but I didn't. But it's funny that I guess you bought one. I'm assuming you bought one. This guy says, go Cal Bears. He says, fuck Stanford. Gina says, go Cardinals, Stanford. So look what you started there, Shifty. Look what you started. Look what you said. It's all your fault. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the chat. Happy New Year to everyone. To our beloved 49er faithful. Hey, we pulled it off. We did not let the Raiders have their day in Vegas. We ousted them out of their playoff hopes. Been awesome. Thank you guys for watching 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Fuck the Raiders. Let's go. Come on, 49 faithful. Let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Area. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49